This is Felipe Osorio, and welcome to 2ndEarth Alternative. So it looks like we have a speed racer racing across Mars that was captured by the NASA Curiosity rover this last week on June 18th. Now, you might think I might be kidding or this might be clickbait. Well, what I can tell you is that I'm kind of half kidding. But certainly, I can tell you that these aren't just any regular lights. So if you want to know what we're talking about, stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to start off this episode. First of all, if you caught my last Bob Lazar episode, that episode where I analyzed Bob Lazar's nervousness in the Joe Rogan podcast, I felt a little bit bad after looking at some of the comments because in trying to support Jeremy Corbell, because I thought in the few opportunities that he had to speak on that podcast, I thought he did an incredible job bringing together the story. So in talking about him, I felt like in a way I kind of left Bob Lazar out. And look, I was making a video called Top 5 Reasons Why Bob Lazar is Telling the Truth even before the documentary came out. So I'm a huge Bob Lazar sympathizer, and I just wanted to put it out there that I just want to apologize for anybody who felt insulted by that. And if you guys want to catch that video, I'll go ahead and link it at the end of this video. So moving on, I wanted to first of all start this episode by talking about this very interesting news segment. And now I say news segment because this person is an investigative journalist. You might know him by the name of Tim Pool. This man who I respect dearly, at least when discussing political issues, well, I guess he decided to try to tackle the UFO topic. And in doing so, I don't know how to describe it. It says here, senators briefed on UFOs as speculation grows surrounding naval sightings report. And in his analysis of this article, he kind of gave a few, I don't know how to describe it. I just thought he was a little bit out of his league in talking about UFOs. One point that particularly bothered me that he mentioned was he started talking about how when pilots see UFOs, he said that there was a higher likelihood that what they're witnessing is some kind of glitch or some phenomenon that we don't know, as opposed to aliens itself. To me, that just kind of speaks how little he knows about the topic, because that's a commonly given answer by people who are just unaware of the actual research. Because when you look at the research, there's very little conclusions you can make outside of the concept that these are higher intelligences that are piloting these crafts, that people who are experts, I mean, these are the guys we sent to space. Some of these guys, people forget that there's like 4 different astronauts, I think Buzz Aldrin, Edgar Mitchell, Gordon Cooper, Dr. Brian O'Leary. All those guys claim that UFOs exist. So we're talking about astronauts talking about it. Fife Symington, when he saw a UFO, that thing was like a mile long. So there's no way that could just be some random glitch in the sky. So my point is that when people see UFOs, these are experts, these are aviation experts, these are people we trust with nuclear weapons. And just to think that what they're seeing is a glitch, I think there's more fallacy to that idea than actually believing in aliens itself. And for example, if you've never seen this image, check out this little glitch right here. It's a big ass glitch, let me tell you, because and here's the thing: some of these people are reporting seeing these type of UFOs sometimes for minutes at a time. You look at the Rendlesham Forest incident, where you had a UFO incident that happened in the border of 2 different international bases. That incident, with Jim Penniston, I mean, the guy literally touched a craft. So there ain't no glitch with that one. But another thing that he also mentioned that kind of bothered me is he talked about this Carl Sagan quote and kind of reused this quote, which for a long time I've been kind of trying to make the point on this channel that this is kind of a fallacy, to say that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The fact is, experiments are all about discovering new ideas. not preconceived ideas. And evidence by nature cannot have a bias. Evidence has to be neutral. So how I think of it, and this was actually reiterated by another viewer, is that extraordinary claims just require evidence, because evidence cannot be biased. And I mean, that's why we have double-blind studies. Double-blind studies so that the experimenter doesn't create a confounding variable in experiments. And what kind of confounding variable would it be to assume a certain likelihood of a phenomenon that you're unfamiliar with, and then somehow affect the evidence, and then determine that the evidence is now changeable, that it's malleable to your interpretation, your change. So you get to be the one who now dictates how much evidence you need for how much extraordinary this preconceived belief is. To me, it just doesn't really make sense, and it just bothers me that he keeps reiterating something that I've always considered to be a fallacy of sorts. But please don't get me wrong, in almost every other respect, Temple, you're the man. Like, really, I really respect your work. I mean, seriously, he's one of the few voices out there that is genuine, that is doing good investigative journalism, and that doesn't really lay down. You know, he is trying to create a whole new news channel, but at the same process is being censored or at least demonetized in a lot of his videos, but he's not lying down. He's going full front and talking about the issues that bothers him, and I have to give him props for that. Just, you know, especially after that mistake I made with the Bob Lazar from the previous episode. So, okay, so moving on. I know you guys are here probably to see this speed racer, so let's get moving. So the object in question, let's put it this way. This is not the first light that was captured on Mars, and I doubt it's going to be the last for various reasons. But what I found interesting is, of the 3 Mars images that we have that has some kind of anomalous lights, though some people postulated different possibilities for these, I don't know if all of these are the exact same. So let me tell you what I mean by this. So here's our little speed racer over there, and I'm going to show you guys why I think that this is a little bit more anomalous than just lights. So to start this off, I want to go ahead and read what US Today said regarding these lights. Alien conspiracy theorists are going to be all over a new Mars image. NASA's Curiosity rover just captured this bizarre glowing light on the red planet. In images taken seconds before and after, there is no signs of the light. NASA isn't sure what caused the anomaly, but they do say it could just be sunlight reflecting off of a shiny rock, or perhaps cosmic rays that interfered with Curiosity's camera. Curiosity is no stranger to the mysterious lights. It's captured similar shots before, like, and I'll show you the other one that they also captured. Not this one, like this one right here. Pretty interesting, right? So when I first saw this, I'll be honest with you, the first thought that came to my mind was cosmic rays. But the reason why I'm reading to you this little news segment from US Today, because you got to consider the logic that's happening here, because to me it doesn't 100% make sense. Think about this. So Curiosity rover has been in Mars, I don't know how many years, definitely enough to have taken tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of images of the red planets. So these NASA scientists, their whole job is to essentially analyze these images for whatever signatures it is that they were looking for to find life on Mars. The point I'm trying to make is, when you're looking at these images and you got every single engineer, every single explanation right there, do you think you would just publish and say that you're not sure what caused the anomaly, but is quote unquote perhaps cosmic rays that interfered with? I mean, what do you mean perhaps cosmic rays? Haven't you been in Mars long enough to know what cosmic rays look like? And if it's not cosmic rays, if it's this weird anomalous light that they're talking about, I mean, what? What do you mean it could have been created by sunlight reflecting off a shiny rock? How is that possible? If seconds before the image was completely devoid of any light, and then seconds after it was completely devoid of light as well. I mean, that's like some supersonic sun that must have been ripping through the atmosphere to create that lighting effect, because I guess what I'm trying to say is the explanations that they're giving are kind of, to me, kind of bogus. And when they do give a legitimate explanation, it just seems like they're very uncertain what a cosmic ray should look like. which makes me think maybe it's the anomalous object that they're uncertain what it is. Just to put it out there. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. So when we went to that speed racer like object, the reason why I'm calling this a speed racer is, so let's go ahead and zoom into this image and let me show you what I'm talking about here. Now, if you don't know, I work as a photo studio manager on the side. So I do have a lot of experience with Photoshop. Let me show you what started happening here when we did the channel mixer. So here's the initial channel mixing. Then we went ahead and increased the size of the image using Photoshop's new image filter, which basically does pixel prediction. It's basically as close as you can get to actually creating pixels because it's a form of an artificial intelligence. We increased the levels. And I'll just go ahead and show you the end result that we have here. So this is what we got here. I don't know about you guys, but this ain't looking like a light to me. I mean, this is extremely geometrical in almost every direction. We got something that looks almost like a perfect dome here. We got almost like a perfect little triangle here. And this like parallelogram type shape. So I gotta be honest, this image got me really interested. So I went ahead and I decided to do an analysis on a new image, and let me show you exactly what happened here. So here's the same image, just a little bit higher quality version of it. And let me show you the steps that we went through. We went ahead and cropped it. Well, first we did a channel mixing, then we cropped it, increased the levels, and check what starts happening here. So I flattened the image, I reduced the noise, increased the size. Now check this out. Interesting, right? Now, I'll be honest with you, I can't be 100% certain if this is some kind of artifact that happened with the image increased size, but certainly when trying to reanalyze the image, this is extremely interesting to say the least. And these are very general filters. I didn't draw these little combustion looking ends. I didn't draw this perfect triangle. This is something that just came out of the image. This perfectly linear structure that is literally emanating out of this ambient lighting, that just came out naturally as I started playing with these filters. So you have to ask, is this a light or is this some kind of physical object? Oh, I mean, look at that. That's a speed racer. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, you know, George Lucas, I mean, where are you? Come on. So this is the end result that we did. All of it was just general filters, like I said before. None of this was drawn. So you guys can make your own conclusions, what you guys think that is. So moving on, I just want to briefly show you some of the other images, the other lights that appeared on Mars. Now this is one of them. Some people claimed it was some kind of humanoid creature. Now this is the one that I actually think might be a cosmic ray, because check this out. When we increase the size of this image, well, first of all, there's no ambient lighting at all. And it's as if the image is not connected to the terrain at all. And then check this out. When I increase the size of the image, look how different that looks. That actually look how organic and how the curves just ripples around the object. So this does not look like a physical structure to me. There's no linear patterns. There's no combustion engine looking type shapes. There's just this very strange organic shape. So I thought that quintessentially these images might have been depicting different things despite looking somewhat similar. And then I decided to look at the third image, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little shocked by this one. The first thing that stood out was when I started analyzing this terrain, I noticed that exactly where this light or gas pouring or whatever this is seems to be emanating from, there seems to be a track over here. So I'm not sure if these are two or connected. So I decided to, once again, increase the levels. And certainly it starts looking closer. And check this out. If you really increase the size of it, look how it's as if the track actually connects to the light. So I increase the image size, and let me show you guys what happens here. And when I say guys, that's like the proverbial guy. Like, I mean, I'm talking about gals and guys. I just don't like to say two words You just like to use one simple word that everybody gets, So check this out. So increase it. Look at how what looks to be almost like a track ends up heading right towards the origins of the light. So I did one more analysis. I went ahead and I increased the size of this thing, and I got a higher resolution image. Guys, look at this. What the hell is that? Do I need? Let me just increase the curve so you guys can see that a little bit better. Look at that. Do you see how there seems to be not just this weird gas pouring or light or whatever this is, but something around it, almost like it has a base? It reminds me of one of those like portals that you see in the Halo battle games. So I go to the next image, and let me show you what's going on here. Not that one. Using the Photoshop Preserve Detail 2.0, 30% will be good. All right. Check this out. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at that. I mean, you literally can't make this shit up. Sorry about the bad language, but this is amazing. Look, it's as if you literally, what it looks like? One of those like light bulb spokes. And look how circular, look how neat. As if the light is perfectly emanating from the base, but once it gets up here, it starts kind of fuzzing out a little bit more. So yeah, so look, I don't know what's going on in Mars. I know that there's 3 different lights. 2 of them seem to be potentially connected to the terrain. One of them, as I showed you earlier, might be the cosmic rays that NASA was claiming this light might be. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave a segment at the end of this video regarding remote viewing. We only had one guess, but surprisingly, the actual item, the actual thing that the person guessed is on the image. Now, it's not the main focus of the image, but it's on the image. So I'm pretty stunned by this, to be honest with you. Now, I haven't contacted the individual, so I haven't been able to ask him if there's anything that he would like to share. So I'll probably highlight him in the next video. But for now, I just want to show you, this what I call a semi-hit for the remote viewing with the only remote viewing guess that we had. And if you guys do want to play, just make sure that you type RV Colin and your best guess. We are going to have a new card for this episode. And yeah, so let's go ahead and play that for a second. Without further ado, let's go ahead and open this envelope. I know you guys probably don't care because nobody really tried to do this one. Actually, we had one try. The guy said a lighthouse. Actually, that's not bad. So our only guess was a lighthouse, and what we have is an image of San Francisco, and in the background we have Coit Tower, which, if you guys don't know, is a lighthouse. Actually, I almost had forgotten about this. That's wow. Okay, so yeah, we had one guess. Lighthouse was the guess. Here's San Francisco. Here's the lighthouse. You know what? I'm gonna highlight this individual for that, because that's pretty cool, man. That's only one guess, and this guy got a segment of the image. So his name is Jeremy Vakulik. Now, in my mind, I had an image of San Francisco. I forgot about that. The Coit Tower is considered to be a lighthouse. So when I saw the lighthouse answer, it didn't occur to me that might have been a hit. But I just wanted to highlight his name, Jeremy Vakulik. Congratulations on, I guess, partially getting the remote viewing session correct. So that is the episode for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure that if you guys want to play the remote viewing game, just write RV Colin and your best prediction. This is Felipe Osorio, signing out.